what's up YouTube? Back this week with 2014 NAWCQ. So, often called hat format, sometimes called soul charge format, because I'm fairly certain that, with the exception of maybe some hat decks, every deck in Top Cut was playing soul charge. And even most hat decks were playing soul charge, at least one copy of it at least. So some people call it soul charge format, but it was a hat mirror in the finals, so it's commonly known as hat format. Popular decks were hat, you had a Lightsworn, you had Sylvan, Infernity was played a little bit, Mermail, Spellbooks, Dragon Ruler variants, so there was a lot of options. It's a pretty popular one to go back to and play, it seems like. So we're gonna get some matches in. We've got a 2014 tournament coming up on Thursday, March 10th at VCG, Viral Card Games, up in Fridley, Minnesota. So hopefully we'll see all the local players there. And otherwise, enjoy some different 2014 matches here. I went RPS yet again. Classic. So we're doing a hat versus a dragon deck. I think this match was pretty interesting. But I opened 5 monsters. So if he opens fast, I don't think I win this game. But he kind of bricked on double Flamvel Guard, so that's nice. I'm not sure if Dark Hole was a correct play there, but I wasn't sure what card he was going to set, so like my original thought was if he did open the second Flamvel, it's big and going to be hard to get over without going into the extra deck. I'm sure that it's possible holding the Dark Hole was probably correct, but that's okay. And here I know he can just go into Spark, or no, Stardust. It was the one that works under Skill Drain. So I think I have to bottomless the Blaster here. There's no reason to overlay into anything just to start poking over Flamvel Guards. I think setting the Ice Hand is the correct play. And unfortunately he has the other bottomless. We're both playing super passively. And he has vanities. Unfortunate. Yeah, it's going to be a really slow game at this point. He didn't open fast enough to kill me through my one live trap, so that was cool. And I hit the Skill Drain, which I'm a fan of. So now we just start picking apart the rest. Now he opens. He gets a little bit going, but I have the max C, which is nice. Dianeo was a good card to draw. It is unfortunate that it was Wingwind Blast, because now I have to use the Fire Hand. I maybe should have gone Battle Phase, crashed into Tempest with Fire, popped the Flamvel Guard, summoned Ice, and then overlaid into like Arc, Honor Arc, to steal the Tempest.
But I went Rhapsody instead. I wasn't really sure what to do, so I just tried to banish some of his resources. He's digging now. Stardust. I'm not too worried because I have a compulse set. He forces it. And then I can hit his back row, and then he just doesn't have any more plays. I'm probably killing him that turn, so I get game one. Thankfully, he didn't open fast enough to kill me, and I started getting into my trap cards, and he just drew a lot of traps that didn't gain him any advantage. So that was cool. So I played this game as if that was a Flamvel guard, which really annoys me. And this time I opted to save the Dark Hole. I don't know if I should have tried to attack just to see. But I did not, so. Yeah, they were both white stones, so I could have been attacking over them. Did he normal summon twice? How did we not catch this? He really normal summoned a title and then normal summoned a Flamvel guard. Wow. Oh my goodness, how did we not catch this in the moment? Force the Dark Hole there. I'm not sure if debunking here was correct. I think, given that I didn't know he had Burial, I think debunk was better than Max C. Because I'm trying not to die, right? I'm only at 5,000, so... Yeah, so when he burials here, that's when I regret not ever activating Max C. I was just opting to use the traps and trying to save Max C for like a 1-for-1 or 1-for-2 when I wasn't at risk of dying. So that's what ended up happening here. I have to summon that just to not die, so I take 34. So I'm at 600. I'm really hoping for something, and I hit a hand. It was like I needed a hand that I could cycle through to like not lose. And I have MST for Vanities if he activates it. And here, I drew Soul Drain when I can't activate it. Sad. Now he's at 15 cards left in deck, and I'm at my first hand. So at this point, I'm probably not killing him. He's too established here. I don't think I'm ever doing 6,000 damage through all of this back row. So right now, I'm just hoping that I can deck him out, honestly. I think that has to be the end game. I think we just decided that DracoSack was a bad play, so he's... And I hit the Decree, which is cool. And now DracoSack here is the correct play. Unfortunately, I'm at too low to warning. And I never had the opportunity to needle sealing, so... And thankfully I drew another hand. I can't summon it though because I'm too low. Like one dragon attacks over it for game, so we still have to set it. And he upstarts, which is cool for me because now I'm not like super risk of dying. We had a Yeah, he had another skill drain, which is unfortunate. I'm at 1600 now, and I could overlay here, but I decide not to, just because leaving the fire on hand on board is more important, I think. So I think I'm forced to take the 700 damage, and then just accept that I'm not going to be able to flip Soul Drain. Yeah, so at this point he's only got 7 cards left in deck now. I think he was a little too aggressive with his draw cards. I think the third upstart probably shouldn't have been, or the second upstart shouldn't have been activated. And I think I would have maybe not used this trade-in, but... I also don't think he should have gold sarked. He took away a turn. I just put hands back in my deck. This is not a hand, but I think I made him think it was. And then, yeah, I just compulse that back so he can't like push for damage. I think I misplayed with this needle sealing. This one, where to go? I think I should have held it for longer because that put him in the, destroyed 2 of my monsters, so that put him in a position of, oh, he can push for damage more quickly because it didn't trigger my fire hands. So I think I got a little lucky that I didn't get punished for doing that. Especially since he had double lance. That was wild. So now this is his last turn. He had Decree. But I can chain MST there. So the skill drain stops the big eye from going. And then I just win because he can't kill me through a hand. much less 2 of them. So we win by deck out. Love to see it. It was an interesting game, to say the least. I'm not sure how often something like this is going to happen, but I learned from when Joey decreed me, if you guys remember from last week, I learned to keep in my MSTs, so we were able to hold out long enough to just not lose before he ran out of cards.
All right, what's up, guys? This is 2014 with Jake Kinsey. Again, he's playing Sylvans this time, and he's with me because I don't know what I'm talking about, so I need help talking about Sylvans.
I will do my best to explain my plays. I mean, there's so many basic misplays. I haven't played this format in a while, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so I won RPS again. I've been killing it with RPS on these Time Wizard formats, not gonna lie. But so I opted to play Lightsworn this time instead of Hat that I've been playing, just because I think Lightsworn is usually fun. I opt to set Gardener, set Needlebug. In my mind, I decided to hold Aaron for follow-up if he's setting a monster or if he's special summoning something from the extra deck in defense. We established that that's probably incorrect because I have double JD in hand, so I've got like 2 dead cards, and the faster I can dig through my deck, the more possibility I'll have to play later. So if I summon Aaron here, I mill 3, and then I Needlebug Nest for 5, so that's 8 cards. It's just 3 extra digs through my deck. But I wasn't really thinking along those lines, so I just set the Necro Gardener. It might not have mattered, but it could have. So
With the double JD in hand, what he wanted to do is really lower the clock of until I could, win the game. Just having 5 cards is a big difference, possibly.
So
here, unfortunately in this one I opened the double Lone Fire, but I also opened the Miracle Fertilizer. Now I could have Sylvan Charity'd and put back one of the Lone Fires, but it wouldn't have really made any sense. And the reason being is then I would have Lone Fired and it would have randomized my deck again. I Lone Fire for a Hermitry, and then I use Hermitry. Oh no, I don't use Hermitry. I Charity. And then right here, I just want to clear the back row. I'm feeling okay with just 1 set. So that's why I don't stack the Princess Sprout.
And I mill garbage. Thank you, Needlebug Nest.
Yep, absolutely. Like nothing really. It's going to attack. It's a Gardener. We're in good shape. I'm starting to a Curry Bandit, so I set my book and my vanities and I pass turn.
Right here, I draw Trooper. Normal Trooper, mill 3. A little bit better. It's a little bit better. We got the 3rd Lightsworn monster here now, so that's something. I summon the Wolf. And then I don't really have any options, so...
Yeah, there's nothing you can really do here, unfortunately.
Yeah, I have to pass again. I'm probably not dying because of the Gardener, but so I don't need to summon the Redox just for defense. And
I draw another Curry Bandit. The cards happen to love me in this one. So I'm just trying to establish the double Hermitry. I know that the field's not very good, just the fact that nothing's really progressed. So what I choose to do here is just summon another one, and I misclick here. Well, that's not a misclick. So I send one, draw the 3rd Curry Bandit, add back to Charity. I put back a Bandit, and I put back a Sprout. But then just to get my deck randomized, so I don't have all the bandits on top, I Terraform for Sylvania, draw a card, and now I'm going to actually attack here.
Yeah, go to battle phase first, just at 23. So I take that, I draw a Card Trooper. I was like, oh, that's a good card.
And since I have Vanity's Emptiness here and the field spell to turn it off, I know it's a simplified game state. So what I do is I just stack the Wolf to the top of the deck. Basically, unless the draw that just happened was something I can't really lose at that point.
Yeah, I would have needed an out to Vanities to even attempt to play. And even if Soul Charge resolves, I'm still not in like the best spot. I'm just in a better one.
In here, I mean, I can pop a card. If for some reason no monsters played, I can put the Marshal Leaf to the bottom. And then I have Miracle Fertilizer to finish off the game.
Yep. So here, I could Soul Charge here, but against the Sylvan deck, you're assuming that one of those cards is a Vanity's Emptiness. My thought was that the other set card was a Lance, because that was played in the Sylvan deck too. So I'm hoping it's a Lance, because Lance doesn't stop Aaron from resolving and putting Alcei back to the extra and then milling 3. So I opt to do Aaron instead of Soul Charge, and it is a book instead of a Lance, so that is unfortunate, and that shuts off my turn. Still thinking I'm probably not dying, so don't need to summon Redox. And
Yeah, I mean,
mill it.
Redux would have been pretty desperate. It would have been your JDs, so
Yep.
it would not have been worth it. So here, since I have the Vanities, I know I can just like basically make a real slow clock. And I don't need to do all that much. I'm just going to push for a little damage. No need to use my Soul Charge.
Yeah. And since I have Soul Charge in hand, I guard into the 26, because I'm going to try and get all 4. At this point, I have to just either hope to draw an out to Vanities or hope it's not a Vanities. I drew not an out to Vanities, so if my Soul Charge resolves, I'm like in the game still a little bit, but it does not. So I lose. Going to game 2, I think I sided 2 Fiend Comedians and 2 MSTs, because I'm trying not to lose the Vanities again.
I think I set it out of Vanities because I was going second, and then I set out a Komashrumo and the Lance, and I put in Chalice, double Max C, and another Marshal Leaf.
Alright, so I'm going first again. I draw another Needlebug Nest. This time, I think it's not quite as bad as my decision last game, summoning the Card Trooper. It's because it's only 1 less mill than the Raiden, and I get the possibility to draw if it dies by battle. But still not great mills. Milled, Fiend Comedian, Amos. Two of my 4 side cards have been milled, which is unfortunate, but
Okay, so I'm just going to Charity here. I needed to draw like a bigger monster in order to get into grave with Sylvania. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had too much going on. I always could have Sylvania discard Spore and then stack something with Princess Sprout, but but here, since I drew the Hermitry, it gave me a lot better plays. I sack that, Tribute, mill that. Sprout goes the top, Charity goes the hand. And then Hermitry mills, draw the card, that summons back. Make it a level 7, and then I summon the Aurea. And again, this is simplified, so I'm just going to send the Trooper back to hand if I can. But what I'm doing here is trying to look at the top 8 cards of my deck, so I can kind of figure out how this goes. Because unless something serious happens, I'm in a pretty good spot. The graveyard's not very set up. Forcing the normal card Trooper is pretty good. It does not target. I did, but
yeah. So I'm forced to activate Needlebug Nest here because it doesn't target, and I'd rather that card not go back to my hand. So then I mill a Wyvern. And I've already got a JD in hand, and the JD isn't live, so Diablos isn't live either. But I mean, so here I have a couple options. I could do Lila to try and hit the Sylvania or the back row. And then just mill 3 in my end phase. But if I don't hit a Gardna, I risk just losing.
yeah. So I think here you just normal the Trooper again.
I think so. Yep. mill 3 more times. I hit a ruler, which is like, okay, that's pretty decent. And then I do that, but he has the vanities, which means my turn is over. And unfortunately, he can just turn off the vanities in his end phase, which is just nutty. And I hope I don't die.
Yeah, so here, I can't remember. Oh, yeah, Sylvania first. Get rid of the spore. Stack. Oh, so yeah, Charity. And I'm not worried. The graveyard still is not very good, so I'm not really worried about dying here. Unlike Lightsworns now, they don't have a great way during their main phase of getting cards to the graveyard, really. I'm just going to look at top 7, so that way I can add any card I want. And the reason I do this is because ideally what I was going to do is basically search Vanity's Emptiness. I did not hit one in the top 7 cards of my deck. Because what you do is you put a plant first, the card you want to search second. So I Hermitry, and I draw Miracle Fertilizer, play Miracle Fertilizer, bring back Hermitry, effect, send a plant, draw the other card I stacked, add back the, yeah. Once Sylvan's going, you can't really do anything about it. And I'm just going to bounce. I accidentally milled an extra card. I'm just going to bounce that here. And then set the Chalice. And again, I felt pretty good. If JD summoned, I can just negate it, and then I can boost myself bigger. So I'm in a good spot either way. And with the graveyard kind of weak, I'm not worried. There's only 2 Lightsworns in there. There's only 3 different named monsters.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to draw like a Charge of the Light Brigade, a Solar Recharge, anything that can help me like get cards to my grave. And I draw another Raiden. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 normal summons in my hand, a dead wolf, and 2 monsters that I am currently unable to special summon. So,
And I wasn't too worried about the charge because it was like a 4.5% chance you would draw a charge only.
yeah, and even charge only gets me to Lumina, and you have Felgrant and Chalice. So
yeah.
I really needed a solar recharge because that got my graveyard filled up, and then I can do plays before the JD or maybe get to another JD. But I guess I didn't have any JDs left. They're all gone. Oops. But I normal summon the Raiden. He negates it. I have the Blaster to summon. He max Cs.
And I knew about the Blaster, which is why I negated the Raiden like that,
Yeah.
rather than Chalice.
And then I forgot that I don't play Star Eater. So I looked at my extra deck and tried to go into Star Eater, and then it's not there. So I just attempt to crash, and he has the Chalice, so then I lose 400. And then I probably die next turn. We'll quickly click through it.
Yeah, because I had the double Miracle Fertilizer, so I can cycle that.
Yeah, so he could summon both back, and even if I had Honest, he could have summoned.
I could have just Felgranded your Raiden.
Yeah, because it makes it unaffected by other card effects.
But what I would do is I would just summon it as like an Aurea and then stack something with Sylvania by discarding the Koma Shrumo, and then I would mill that, bounce the Raiden to hand, and I could summon 2 more things with the or 1 more thing with the Miracle Fertilizer and attack for game.
Yeah, so not a great showing from Lightsworn. We didn't draw the greatest, but it might not have mattered.
And we talked about if the Maxi did something, you can summon Decisive Armor in this deck against Lightsworn. And it discards your hand and look at your opponent's hand, and you send all lights to graveyard, and they take damage equal to the total attack. So even like right here, it would have been 34.
Yeah, if you
like
can
80, 100 damage if I would have done it even without Maxi here.
Yeah, Decisive Armor is pretty insane. What's your tuner? Oh, the Spore. Yep.
Yep. You have to. It's kind of difficult to summon, but you can do it pretty easily, especially when you have like Miracle Fertilizers or Soul Charge online.
Yeah, you can just banish the Sprout and then sync with Hermitry.
You can. It's 10, so you can just like Soul Charge back a Hermitry, a Spore, and a Sprout.
Oh,
too.
that too. Yep. You don't even have to use Spore effect.
So.
Yeah. All right. Well, Sylvan's scrapes me still. Happens to the best of us. Thanks for playing, Jake.
And yeah, absolutely. Hopefully I can do this again.
Yeah, and we'll see the rest of you at VCG on Thursday for the 2014 tournament.
Peace.
See ya. Alright, we've got a hat mirror. Me versus Caleb. Fair warning. We don't play this very well. I went RPS again because I'm insane. And I opened the bad trap tricks. And I opened all 3 upstart. So I put him at 11,000. So this is going to be an uphill battle to begin with. And he opens Ice Hand. Let's just show mine for now, so I can talk about what I'm playing around. I guess I know what those cards are, but... I hit the Myrmilio, which is cool. I already have the bottomless, I think. Yep, so... I say... Who cares? This is probably not the correct play, but I did it, and I kind of got rewarded because he hit the Sanctum. But then I hit the Sanctum, so that was sad. And then he hit my bottomless. That was rough. I'm still even with him though, so we can crash that, never get punished by deep prison, and then we're through 1 Sanctum, so we try and do some pushes, and we hit the bottomless there, which is nice. And he hits an ice, he hits another hand. So he just got to his hand engine earlier than I did. I'm still plus on him for now, but I'm coming from behind. Here I go Dweller, and I'm trying to play around trap tricks, so I just pass. He had Compulse, so even if I like try and push and use it, it doesn't matter. But that's okay. I'm ahead right now. I'm +1 on him. I'm 2 cards ahead, but by nature of going first, so I'm a net +1 on him. So I decide to crash hands. And he hits my Sanctum, which is cool. But I hit his Moral Talk. And here's where the misplays really start coming in. So my Sanctum hits his 2nd Moral Talk. So he activates his on field, which I think is probably wrong. But for some reason, I trap tricks it. And I should have let it resolve, because then my fire hand can pop it and I summon an ice. So that was, I think, a mistake. And then we do the same thing. He makes the same mistake by activating Moral Talk again, and I make the same mistake by nightmaring it again. It's just really stupid. I should have let it resolve. So at this point, using my fire hand to attack his fire hand just doesn't generate any advantage for me, and it lets him out my torrential. So what I really should have done is, especially on the second one, let it resolve. Then I still have a trap tricks. He doesn't have this. I attack with my ice hand into his fire hand. So he either triggers his fire hand or he doesn't. If he does, he pops my ice, and then I out his last back row. And then I'm ahead because I still have torrential, trap tricks, and a set MST. And we just both end on fire hands. And he has no back row. So I would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would be a true +2 on him if I played that correctly. But now we're even. So I just hella nagged with this Trap Tricks Trap Hole Nightmare. That was 100% incorrect. Unfortunate. He soul charges for 3. I just torrential MST here because now all of our hands miss. There's no targets for any of them. So now we're back to even. I do not have any targets left for Mamilio. And he hits 100 over, which is unfortunate. Alright, he sets a card here. I end phase call. I have 2 choices, fire and ice. If that set card is an MST, fire hand is the correct choice. But if that set card is anything other than MST, then ice hand is the correct choice. Unfortunately, I played around all the other cards to summon the ice hand. And then I commit to that not being MST and summon a Myrmilio for no reason, and it was an MST. So I think summoning Ice Hand was still correct. I definitely just shouldn't have summoned Myrmilio though. I should have waited to see what it was, because now he just gets a free plus off of it. That's a good one to get. I hope I don't hit a Sanctum, and I don't. He misread Exiton and thought that I could use it in my battle phase. Which is why I didn't Sanctum. Alright, I'm not dying yet. But I went from the possibility to be a true +2 to now I'm down. I'm -2 now. Not a good day. Oh, now I'm -3. I don't know why he thought he could summon it from my graveyard, but... I was like, Firehand's not the worst card to draw, but unfortunately, I'm low enough to get cowboyed. Alright, so I played that pretty poorly. We'll try it again. Oh, did I forget to draw for turn? No! I hate everything. He has the debunk. Yeah, now I'm just playing from behind because I forgot to draw for turn. Super unfortunate. I have to try to start picking apart his board and hope I miss artifact cards, but I don't. Yeah, I hit lots of artifact cards, and I keep missing his bottomless. So he searched Trap Tricks off of Myrmilio, so I'm assuming this card is bottomless, and it is. So I just can never flip my fire hand, and that ends up winning him the game because I missed the bottomless the whole time. Obviously, bottomless doesn't affect Dianea, but it doesn't matter because Myrmilion's going to pop it anyway. Alright, I hit cards that are not good. Oh, misclick. He knows I have the debunk, so I'm going to set both so he can't just MST it blind. Alright, so 35 here. And I forget about Dichotomy's restriction because it's not in my hand, and I accidentally duality first, which sucks. Could have had... I could have gotten back into this game, I think, if I Dichotomy first and then duality. Thankfully, he just like doesn't bottomless this. Which is cool. I don't forget to Dichotomy this time. I need good cards here. And I kind of get them. Firehand's not amazing. But I think I'm in a good spot. So I have my Firehand. And I have to blind MST to try and hit a debunk, because if he has a debunk, it's over. And I hit the debunk. He's sick. He's very mad about it. Here, I debunk before he targets, but he targets my Moral Talk, so I just let it go. And then, pretending that I didn't accidentally see his wiretap, I debunk, it wiretaps, and now bad things are happening. I still know he has bottomless, so I wanted to be able to call the Firehand here, but I've never been able to bait the bottomless. So unfortunately, I have to call a Moral Talk. Because Myrmilio is mandatory, so if I call the Firehand and there's no bottomless there, I think I'm in a good spot. But instead, he does this to me, and now I'm just prolonging the inevitable. I have to pop the call because if he draws a monster, he wins. And unfortunately, this dude decides to cowboy me for game again. I'm sick. So 2 games in a row. 2 games in a row, Caleb says Cowboy F, and that makes me sad. But game 1 was definitely mine. I should have won it. Game 2, I was fighting from behind the whole time, which is sad. Should have been able to force a game 3, but now we'll never know what would have happened had I played correctly. So hopefully you guys can take some pointers, maybe some pointers on what not to do when you're playing for this upcoming 2014 tournament, and we'll see you guys Thursday at Viral Card Games.